Packs in GoTWiC nowadays is a fairly diluted market. Typically in the past, we'd have normally like one pack per item, and you could then discount that through various means. And that would primarily be how you got these premium items. However, now I have a Discord page here on my Alliance Discord showing all the packs in the game, all the relevant ones at least, of the stuff you'd want to be buying. Isn't all the packs in the game. And there are just so many different ways and different types of packs to obtain these items in the game now. And I was wondering the other day, what exactly is the best pack in the game? Because there's just so many of them out there nowadays. And of course, if you're a mid-spender or a low spender, you're going to have a limited budget in terms of what you can buy and how much of it you can buy. So I thought a video going over this could be a pretty decent idea. I have recently made videos going over the cheapest ways to buy these different types of items in the game, like T5 books or SS medals or epic tokens. And there's a pretty consistent trend you can see throughout all of these. And in my archive here, I have the same thing, where the self-discounting packs tend to be the best way to buy each of these items that they offer when compared to the alternatives. So for example, with Merchants of King's Landing, this will be the most efficient way of buying T5 books in the game through Black Diamonds pretty much, for its full progression at least. You can see here it's giving 340 T5 books just for 885 BD in its full progression, compared to something like 370, which is only a tiny bit more for near enough double the price here. And this is mostly due to the fact that each tier of this pack you'll buy, it will then have its self-discounting packs that will halve the price of the next one and the next one and the next one. For 10 black diamonds, then 25, then 100, then 250, then 500 on the final progression. So there are several of these in the game now. There's Merchants of King's Landing, which is the one for T5 books. There is Path of Ascendance and Beach Party for epic tokens primarily. So Beach Party will give different stuff on the 4th and 5th tiers of the pack, and the epics will be cut out. But these first 3 tiers are near enough the best way of grinding epic tokens in the game on a low budget. And on the same note, it's the same with Path of Ascendance, where it will be 25 epic tokens available for 135 BD when buying these first 3 tiers of the pack. And now you also have in the game the Harvest Pack, which has been introduced into the store more and more recently. In recent weeks, I think it's been in store for 3 or maybe 4 weeks consistently now. Dell has it down here on the spreadsheet, appearing every Tuesday and Wednesday. Can't guarantee how consistent that will be as particularly long term, but that's what it's been at the time of recording, short term at least. This was initially introduced as, I think, a UC winner pack, and then it was a seasonal pack. I think it was there at Halloween. And now it seems to slowly being integrated as a mainstay into the game. And this will be the best way of buying SS medals in the game for low to mid spenders that want to grind it fairly slowly now also. And the full progression of this pack will actually give even more epic tokens also than, say, Path of Ascendance will at its full progression. Here, Path of Ascendance will give you 65 epic tokens, whereas Harvest Pack will give you 68. So for mid-spenders, the stuff you're typically going to want more than certain other items, the Harvest Pack is actually in a very good spot due to the items it gives, particularly because of how difficult SS medals have historically been to obtain. So mid-spenders tend to have very underdeveloped SS troop appearances. So now with this being made more easily obtainable throughout the game, I think this is in a very good spot. And now there is also, as of recent, this pack here. It was initially introduced as the most recent UC Winners Pack, and this will now be the best way in the game to obtain the Castle Awakening essences. These first tiers of the pack also are actually the best or the most efficient ways of obtaining T5 books. Also, you can see they're at the very top of the spreadsheet here in terms of efficiency. So it's both the most efficient way of buying T5 books and Castle Awakening essences. I thought this pack might have been a bit more of a one-off, but again, similar to the Harvest pack and how it was first introduced as a UC Winners pack, it has been introduced to the game through other various ways since the end of that UC season. So you see here it was added as the New Year pack also, and also in the past few days it was added as the Emergency Relief pack, which if you look in game right now is all the purchases of this will actually be being donated to the victims in Turkey and Syria after the recent earthquakes. I've actually full bought this pack, so I can't show it in the store, but I do think that that's a nice touch from the devs, and it being such a good pack, I guess, is also a good way of encouraging people to help the charitable cause also. I won't linger on that for too long though, because that isn't necessarily the point of this video. The point of this video is, what is the best pack in the game? So we've already established that the self-discounting packs tend to be the most efficient way of obtaining all these items you're typically going to want to obtain as a mid-spender. So then it's just determining which of these is realistically the best. So Merchants of King's Landing is the best in its full progression for T5 books, but the fact that Castle Awakening Essence Pack is actually more efficient than it in terms of T5 books per BD, I think knocks it down a peg. Plus, grinding T5 books is such a long process, you're not going to get any rewards for that for such a long time, that I don't feel comfortable saying that is the best pack, because it's just going to be a fruitless effort for months and months and months, realistically. Epic tokens, Beach Party and Path of Ascendance are best at this first 3 tiers of the pack being bought out consistently for the epic tokens, and they do have a role there. Beach Party, I would say, is worse than Path of Ascendance due to what it's giving in those first 3 tiers compared to Path of Ascendance. So here it has A medals and then Dragon Marks, whereas Path of Ascendance will have tons of diamond items. It will have 28,000 diamonds in 1k diamond items in those same tiers, plus Blessing Stones, which for most mid-spenders, you will realistically have your A medals filled out. So this will be a better buy typically than Beach Party. If you're a newer account or you don't have your A medals filled out, perhaps Beach Party will be better for you. But I think by process of elimination, this will just leave Path of Ascendance, Harvest Pack, and the Castle Awakening Essence Pack left in a final 3. And then I think the fact that even at its full progression, Path of Ascendance is actually giving less epic tokens than Harvest Pack, plus it's obviously giving less SS medals. The only thing it really has over it is the diamonds and the blessing stones, but the main things you're buying this for are epics and then SS in the final tiers. So I think Harvest Pack is just sort of doing its job better than Path of Ascendance realistically. So I think that the 2 best packs in the game after that process of elimination will be the Harvest Pack and the new Castle Awakening Essence Pack, assuming it's in the game consistently at least. So if we bring these up and then compare them, here we go. Obviously, these will be dictated according to what you need most at that point in time, what your account requires in terms of what is best. So here the full progression of the Harvest Pack will give 93 SS medals and 68 epic tokens alongside it. So as a mid-spender, the 2 things you probably want most of all will be those 2 things, so it does serve a very good purpose there. And the Castle Awakening one is a bit trickier to evaluate because its value is tied to having the castles to actually awaken. If you can make use of all these essences though, realistically this will be by far and away the best pack in the game, I think, compared to Harvest Pack. Because if you actually do the maths on how far all of this stretches, if I bring up the Castle Awakening spreadsheet I have here, and then show this, so there you go. You can see at the top here how many crystal essences you require per tier. So it's consistently 10, 20, 30, and then 60. The A tier can only go to 2 stars, so there's no 30 or 60 stage for that. So we'll give here 85 A essences, 85 S essences, and 60 SS essences. So for the SS ones, you can do the first 3 tiers of an SS castle. So that will be 15% stats passively total. For the S tier, it's a bit more complicated because you have a weird number of 85. But you could do, again, the first 3 tiers of something, so that'll be 9%. Plus you can then do the first tier of 2 other things, plus have some left over. But doing one thing to level 3, and then 2 other things to level 1 will be 13% passive stats, so that'll be a total of 28% passive stats. And then the A essences, you could do 10-20, 10-20, so that'll be 5% total, because 2 things will be at 2 star. And then you can get 2 other things to 1 star also, and have some left over, which will be a total of 7% stats. So it'll be 15, 13, and 7, for a total of 35% total passive attack stats just from this pack alone. Plus it's the most efficient way of buying T5 books in the game, and it's all for less than 1,000 black diamonds. So this pack is absolutely ridiculous realistically. You can of course get very, very good value from the troop appearance medals here also, and there is a bit of a 1A 1B dynamic here in terms of these 2 packs. I think it's quite clear that there's an element of power creep when it comes to the newer releases of packs, because I think Beach Party was the first one introduced, maybe Merchants of King's Landing, but I think Path of Ascendance was then added later, and Path of Ascendance is sort of just a better Beach Party. But now Harvest Pack is so good compared to everything else, and then now this new Castle Awakening pack also is just so good compared to everything else also. If you don't have any of the SS troop appearances leveled at all, you could stretch these SS medals out to 3 troop appearances from nothing to full grey rarity, which would, if total stats, provide fairly similar value compared to what you'd be getting from being able to fully use all of these. But it would fall off quite quickly as the rarities of your troop appearances go up. Of course, the castles have the same interaction as well, where if you don't have castles to awaken, this pack will fall off in the same way. But I think generally for most mid-spenders at least, because of how SS troop appearances get thrown at you a bit more in free means through stuff like Glorious Battle and Battle of the Narrow Sea, you will probably have your troop appearances to at least grey and green. So I would say this pack here is probably the best pack in the game, at the state of recording at least. Then it will be Harvest Pack, and then it will be everything else. So if you're a mid-spender, and these 2 packs are started to be seen consistently in the store, I would probably look to try and invest in these 2 where possible. Perhaps your priorities will be more so in line with awakening commanders to 4-star, where you might want to just keep grinding out Beach Party and Path of Ascendance in the first 3 tiers, which totally makes sense for your account. But in terms of general value, these 2 are probably king, and this pack here, the Castle Awakening pack, is currently the best pack in the game.